Hello Year 12. As you'll have seen from my email, UCAS Apply 2021 launches on the 19th of May, so that's next Tuesday. This is the application form that you'll use if you're applying to universities in the UK. They've already produced an excellent step-by-step guide, which I've shared a link with you for that. So I haven't reproduced that here, but what I am going to do is just go through a little bit the process in school and kind of what you need to be aware of from our end of things. So obviously we really want you to take ownership of your application. So it's important that kind of you take action to make sure you know what your predicted grades are. Now I realise these are unusual times, so what we're suggesting that you do at the moment is have a look at your last progress check and focus on those target grades to give you an indication of the sorts of courses that you should be looking at. And you should be planning to look at courses within a range of kind of grades anyway. And if you are using the Unifrog course search, what you'll find is if you put your grades in, they'll give you a range of safe courses through to more aspirational courses. We will be finalising official predicted grades kind of come September, October time. So please don't worry about those at the moment, and just be assured that your teachers will obviously be doing absolutely everything they can to make sure that they are an accurate reflection of your ability. So you don't need to be concerned about that at the moment. Personal statement is something else that generally people do get quite concerned about. We're going to be looking at a little bit more in the coming weeks. The one thing I will say for now is that you need to be prepared to probably produce at least 3 drafts of that and get it checked, either by myself or by your tutor. What we tend to find is that to begin with, students tend to get a lot of ideas down, and that's great, and they just need a little bit of refining to make sure that obviously they reflect you in the best way possible before going to university. It's really important that you check your own form. Now again, there is lots of guidance online as to how to fill it out, and we will normally provide a list of common mistakes that students make to look out for. So really basic things like just making sure you've spelt your name with capital letters, for example. And before you come to me to say that you've completed your form, we just ask you that you check it yourself for these really common mistakes. Once you think you have finished your form, so we're talking next term, probably October, November, December time, you need to make an appointment with me. I'll sit down with you, I'll go through the form again, and then we'll make sure it's all ready to be sent. It's really important that you engage with the support and also that you meet the internal deadlines that we set, because that allows us to do our side of the job, such as providing a reference and checking the form for any mistakes, as I've already said. So what will we do? As I've already said, we'll give you predicted grades and we'll make sure that they're based on honest professional judgments. Likewise, we'll give you an academic reference that is honest and properly academic and reflects your academic ability. In your reference, we will also discuss anything that might have had an impact on your education. So if you want to kind of make us aware of things that you'd like to go in there, that you can. And we do give you an opportunity to read that before it goes off as well. We'll obviously provide lots and lots of support, and as we're already doing, kind of lots of places that you can do your research and make sure that you've kind of got access to different kind of opinions as well. So we will get people in to speak from different universities as well as you just hearing from us. We will also make sure that your form goes on time, so that's by the 15th of January external deadline. We'll make sure that everything goes off by that date, but generally speaking, much earlier, obviously, if you get it to us earlier. So I mentioned deadlines a couple of times. These are the key dates that you need to be aware of. So obviously 19th of May, the application starts. That's to give you lots and lots of time just to kind of be putting in the basics really. There's no reason for you to wait to put in things like your address, your GCSE grades and stuff that you already know. You can't actually submit your application until the 8th of September. So as you can see, there's plenty of time before you need to put in critical things like choices, like personal statement, and that can all be done once we're back. The 1st of October is our internal deadline for those applying to Oxbridge, to medicine, to veterinary sciences and to dentistry. We will always set an internal deadline that's slightly earlier than your external deadline, and that's to make sure that we can spot any mistakes on the form, that we can get your reference all ready, so it just makes sure there's plenty of contingency there if there is something that's not quite right. Obviously, the external deadline for Oxbridge medicine, vets and dentists is the 15th of October, which I am certain you'll be very, very aware of by now. The internal deadline for everybody else is the 1st of December. So just before Christmas, you need to make sure you've got your form finished, your personal statement finished, everything uploaded, and you come to me to make an appointment. The external deadline is the 15th of January. Now, obviously that does give a little bit of leeway if people do have problems meeting that 1st of December deadline, but you need to bear in mind that obviously we have 2 weeks off for Christmas in between then, and coming back after Christmas, it doesn't give us a great deal of time to get everything sorted. So that's kind of why we set our deadline when we do. But the 15th of January is the external deadline, and actually after that, you can still apply to university. It's just that deadline is when universities will give you fair consideration. So after the 15th of January, they can class your application as late. And if their courses are full, then they can just turn around and say, actually, no, our courses are full, we haven't got space for you. But providing you get it in by the 15th of January, they have to look at all your applications equally. There is a little link there to the UCAS website that will obviously kind of give you more up-to-date deadlines. At the moment, that's the deadlines that have always been how it's always been previously. Obviously, under the current situation, they are still up for review. It doesn't look likely that they will change at the minute, but it is possible if things continue that there might be some movement there. So I do also recommend you keep an eye on that website, and obviously we'll update you as well if there is any change. Other things you need to know. You need to know the buzzword. This is Fram 2021. You'll get that in plenty of emails. We'll remind you of it so you can't lose it. This is what links your application to the school. So it allows us to see your application, to check it for any mistakes, and also to upload our reference. So it's really important that you put that in. If for whatever reason you do miss it on the registration stage, you can then put it in later and ask for your application to be linked to the school. It also gives the school permission to view your destination. So come kind of September of 2021, we'll know where you've gone and what course you've been accepted onto. Student finance, there will be again more information coming out on student finance in the next couple of weeks, but assuming that you want to take out a student loan, your code is 02. This will be most of you. If there are some of you that don't intend to take a student loan out, and that tends to be international students, then please do drop me an email so I can offer you some separate advice. As I've already mentioned, you're allowed 5 choices that can reflect a different range of kind of grades. At the moment, you don't need to put those in any specific order. I think UCAS just puts them in an alphabetical order for you. And it's later on, once you've got all your offers, that you get to choose a first and a second choice. There is a cost to the application. Obviously, there's a lot of admin from UCAS's end to get your application sent off to the different universities. It's £26 this year. That money doesn't come to us. You pay that on card when you submit your application. So you don't need to pay that now. That will be October, December, whenever you send your application off that you put that in. Just a little reminder of the UCAS tariff, so it might be helpful for you to work out, once you've got your target grades, what that is in tariff points as well, because some of the offers you'll see are expressed in that way. So in terms of getting started, I've already sent you this link in the email, but that's the fantastic step-by-step video, very, very clear, that UCAS has produced, talking you through the application. If you go to the UCAS page and sign up now for 2021, what it will do is give you access to the UCAS hub. So it asks you a few questions about general areas that you might be interested in, and mainly marketing questions actually to ask for permission to kind of send you emails from universities. This can be useful. And obviously you can kind of set your preferences, and it gives you access to the UCAS hub, which is a tool very similar to Unifrog, where you can use their course search and kind of use their tariff calculator and get access to help articles. As I said, we've got Unifrog, so it might well be that you're quite happy sticking with that, but if you want to try something a little bit different, then the UCAS hub is there for you. And obviously come Tuesday, you can actually sign up for Apply itself. If you get stuck, on the application, at the beginning of every section, there is a little video talking you through that section. So if you do get stuck, I'd urge you to watch the UCAS videos first, then drop me an email. When we're in school, what I'll normally do if a student is stuck is I'll just come and sit next to you while you log in, and I'll have a little look at the form and I'll give you some help. So please do feel free to email me or ask me to give you a ring. But if you really are stuck and it's going to require me to come and have a look at your application form with you, please don't worry about it now. We can obviously do that in September. Just focus on the bits that you can do. Several universities are running webinars on several topics, not just how to fill out the UCAS form, but looking at things like personal statements and student finance in more detail. I've had some great feedback about the Newman University webinars, so do check those out. And the things that Manchester produce are normally very, very good, so I recommend those as well. Unfortunately, at the minute, there's nothing from our local universities, but those two should be absolutely fine if you want to go and have a look. I think the first couple of webinars are in the next few weeks, and then there's the general UCAS events website there as well, where you can register for other virtual open days. So next week we will be looking a little bit more at virtual open days, and actually once you've chosen a course, how you can kind of then go on to choose a university. So that'll be next week, and then after that we'll be starting to focus on personal statements. That doesn't stop you from looking at advice and videos that you find on those topics before then, but that's just the order that we'll obviously be working through things. As ever, if you have any questions before then, do feel free to drop me an email, and good luck with getting your application started.